Hello everyone! Welcome to our very first live stream for Open Multiplayer. Maybe we should start by introducing ourselves. So, self-clause?
Yeah, I think I've been around Samp for since 2008 or 7. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. I just kind of do the website stuff at the moment. I manage the wiki and a tiny bit of coding, but not too much. These guys are far better at that than I am. But yeah, I do the wiki stuff mainly and the website, so that's kind of my area.
Woohoo. And...
Oh shit.
Wireless?
Here we go again.
Hi, I'm Wireless. I've been in Samp longer than you have. I blagged my way onto the beta team before it was even released, so there we go. It's been a while. And a former dev. I'm not entirely sure if I need to introduce myself, but there we go.
Nice.
Probably not, to be fair.
Probably not.
I'm sure everybody knows you.
Just in case. Just in case.
You never know. Scripters know me, but not necessarily players.
No, I'm pretty sure everyone does.
I'm also the only former dev currently not purged from the client about age.
Nice.
That's
I
an
guess
achievement.
That's an achievement, yeah.
Much from everywhere else, but not the client.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Okay, Josh, your turn.
Well, I'm Josh, and I'm one of the main developers of openmp. I've been in Samp for at least 7 years now. Started programming 6 years because of Samp. And if you've been on the Discord, you know who I am. I'm always there and always able to talk to you if you need any help for anything.
Oh, that was very wholesome. Who are you and what have you done with Josh? Okay, Amir.
Well, I'm Amir, and I've been around since 2010, I guess. That's the time I started playing Samp, actually. And I'm just part of openmp development team, and I just kind of help with the coding, stuff like that. Yeah, just that.
Here we go again.
Nice. And Big Eddie?
Yeah, I'm Big Eddie. I'm 27 years old. I started playing Samp around 2009. Yeah, I did some contributed to projects, had my own servers, etc. Yeah, and also I'm a contributor to openmp right now.
Awesome.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And Michael?
I'm just Michael. I've been around since 2007. Owned a few communities in that, fought my way up. These days, though, I pretty much just follow self-clause and manage all his projects that he's abandoned. And other than that, I just work on free time on openmp.
He's the surrogate father to everything I've created.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome.
Who are you, Potassium?
That is a good question. So I'm Potassium, obviously. I've been in the Samp community since about 2008, 2009, maybe. So like 10 years, or more, I guess. Maths. I'm not a scripter. I keep telling everyone that I will be, maybe one day. I probably won't be, but anyway. I don't really have a backstory. I'm just some random from the Samp forum. And I don't know, I just love this community and want to be a part of keeping it alive, so I kind of just invited myself to this team. So, yay.
Well, that's fine. You do a fairly important
gladly
job.
welcome.
We've got
Yeah, so I can't do
plenty
any
of coders and things.
any technical things completely over my head, so we just named my role public relations and I just post stupid memes every now and again. But that's okay. Someone needs to. So basically we're all old school players of San Andreas, as you just heard. And we're all or were all part of a community called San Andreas Multiplayer. So it's a multiplayer modification for San Andreas. And it's a little bit outdated now, I guess you could say. So we're just kind of trying to breathe some more life back into it because we're not ready to let our little community die yet. So is that a fair summary?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I want
that sounds
to.
about right.
I want to kind of address the big question to start with.
Yes.
Why? In some respects, we don't really want to create open.mp. We're perfectly happy playing Samp.
Yes.
It's a nice little game. It does everything we want. But Alcor wrote it. He has the source code and things. He had some help. And he was no longer interested in maintaining it, which is fine and happens to everybody. And I just want to make that clear that I've got no hard feelings to him for that, because everybody moves on eventually. You get new interests. But he decided that he wanted to just take everything down with him. He didn't want to pass on the source code. He just wanted to stop, so he felt everyone else should stop as well. We quite liked it here, so we didn't stop it. As I said, if he wants to move on and move on to other things, that's totally his prerogative.
Yes, that's right. We're not judging. We're just a little bit sad, but that's okay because we're gonna fix it. We
Yeah, it's
can
time
do
to move
something
on,
about
you know?
it, so we will.
Yeah, let's move on to the next bigger things.
Alright, so we had a bunch of questions on our forum, which, by the way, is burgershot.gg, so sign up there. So I guess let's just get into them. The most pressing question right now, obviously, is regarding the recent Samp drama. So for those who don't know, the Samp forum and the Samp wiki have been offline for a few weeks now. And we don't want to make assumptions, but it doesn't look like they're coming back anytime soon. I think that's a pretty fair assumption to make.
The links have been removed from the homepage. If it was just a temporary thing, he would have probably not removed the links.
Yeah, that's right. So it doesn't look like they're coming back.
That's no.
So people just kind of want to know what our thoughts are on this. Like, what do we think actually happened? So
It's basically what I just said. Like, Alcor has for years been uninterested. That's why there's just been zero development. And like several of us, when I was in the beta team, we all kept trying to like chivvy him along and release updates and things. And obviously, the whole community was like screaming for updates. He didn't want to because he had lost interest. He wanted to move on, and that's, as I already said, that's fine. We don't mind people moving on and leaving projects. It was the fact that he refused to hand over the reins to anybody else.
Yeah,
This is just a continuation of that. The forums were pretty huge. They were not easy to run. It's close to a full-time job, not just moderating them.
Yeah.
And I suspect he's just totally lost interest and decided he no longer wants to do it, but does not want anybody else to continue his legacy. So he's just taking everything down.
Yeah.
I'm slightly confused that the homepage is still there.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that's probably just because the homepage probably costs next to nothing to actually keep online, whereas the forum probably took a bit of time and expense to actually run. I'd imagine that's why.
You can still download Samp from a main homepage.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, at least I can do that.
Yeah. Personally, I just hope Calcor's okay. Like, what if he got COVID and he's like in hospital and like
That would be
can't
terrible.
maintain
That'd be
it?
really bad.
What if it just like ran out and he can't put it back up because he's in hospital? Anyway.
I don't know.
That would just be extremely unfortunate.
And then he comes back and
I'd
there's
send him
just
there.
like a mutiny. Anyway.
While he was in hospital, he happened to
lighter
move
things.
the forum link and wiki.
Oh yeah. Yeah, fair enough, I guess.
I'm just thinking we might have heard about that because, like,
Yeah,
through
yeah,
the
we probably
grapevine
would have
of
heard
beta
you're right.
testers. But
Yeah.
maybe not, because even beta testers barely hear anything. I can speak from personal experience.
Yeah.
People kept asking me, like, when's the next version coming out? I know just as little as you do.
Yeah. But
We
anyway,
have our own private forum, and it's dead.
on the subject of forums, our forum and our wiki seem to be quite popular replacements for the Samp ones, so feel free to check them out.
They are not dead.
They are not
Yeah.
dead. And
They're very active, you were saying, like more than I've ever seen.
yeah. Particularly
Yeah,
for
we've had tons
scripting
of-
help, so yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
You go.
The wiki contributions have been great.
Yeah.
Like when the wiki went down, like having loads of people just copying pages from the old wiki onto the new one was like really good. So shout out to everyone who contributed. Like thank you. That was really cool.
And it's even better
and
that we've
everyone
had
who's
like loads of
translating as well.
translations.
Yeah, the
Absolutely,
translation
yes.
stuff is great because I think that's one thing that the old wiki definitely lacked. Yeah, translating that is definitely a priority, and we've got some good people to help us with that. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just for the record, burgershot.gg is our forum, and open.mp/docs is our wiki, so go there.
Yeah.
Do the thing. The next most frequently asked question, and always will be, is the release date. So obviously we don't have a date. We will never give a specific date because we're all volunteers and do this in our free time. But do we have a rough idea of maybe like a percentage of how far along we are before we can make it public? Like, are we like 1% through? Are we halfway through? Are we 90% through? What do you think?
I mean, we're pretty close, aren't we?
Yeah, I think most of the sort of big systems are like the bulk of it is done. It's so like most of the sort of major what we've called modules now are done. I can explain modules later, but essentially large chunks of code done. Now it's like connecting them, making sure all the little extra features are there. I was going to say it's progressing fairly steadily now.
I think it depends on what you define as public. I mean, I can pretty much say that we're fairly close to have a beta, like a test server.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're near that. A public release is, as in everyone else having the executable, is obviously a bit far off. But I think a test server will be coming fairly shortly.
Did you hear that,
I
chat?
haven't
A
seen
test
yet.
server is coming fairly shortly. Mark his words. Alright, so most of the questions from this point on are from a scripting point of view. So obviously I have no idea about that stuff, so this is where you guys shine. So you mentioned modules just before. Did you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, basically modules is an extension of kind of the general trend in like library development and stuff that has developed over years for like code isolation. So like all the objects, all the code related to objects, that's a module. All the code related to checkpoints, that's a module. Vehicles is a separate module. And
So
there's
in
obviously-
terms of like plugins and filter scripts like we have in Samp, is that what are we renaming them to modules, or I think I saw something about that before.
Not quite. Modules are more a chunk of code that provides some functionality.
Yeah.
So your filter scripts, I mean, we don't really have filter scripts anymore. You just have scripts because game modes and filter scripts was an arbitrary, pointless distinction in the first place. We do still have plugins, but there's legacy plugins, which is all existing ones. Most of them should work, some of them won't. If they use memory hacking, they won't work because that's changing values in memory at very specific locations. But because completely different code, everything's moved.
Yeah.
But then if someone wants to make, let's say, a memory hacking plugin to work on OpenMP, they can just like use the existing API in OpenMP instead of
and not
just
hack
doing
memory.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to go about that route anymore.
Yeah.
No. So we have a full C API. So
Correct.
legacy plugins had about 3 functions that they could call in the server. And that was it. And there was all sorts of workarounds and horrible ways to poke on natives from plugins. Now you can do that directly. So 90% of the need for memory hacking plugins is just gone. Things like Samp GDK, need for that was pulling pawn functions from plugins, that's gone. So plugins are all these legacy ones, and modules are basically the replacement. Like plugins, but far more powerful.
Cool. Okay, so we got a few questions about limits. I know that we talked about that in our last Q&A, and I think you guys said there won't be limits on things like vehicles and objects. Is that right?
Right now, OpenMP will be just a server release for now. So you have to make it compatible with San Andreas multiplayer. Therefore, we have to let's say emulate limits, but then internally in OpenMP there are no server-sided limits.
Yeah.
It just depends on how much your machine is capable to do.
There was one interesting issue with limits that we were discussing only last week. The server itself can stream players as well. So, in theory, you could have unlimited players on the server, even with this legacy Samp client. Basically, we just send the players closest to you, sync them, and then when you move further away, we change which players are synced. But we've had to disable that by default because it means that everybody's constantly changing ID. So I'd connect to the server. I have a server ID of 27, but when I'm streamed to you, I have your local ID of 3. But I'm streamed to somebody else, and I have a local ID for them of 17. So you, as an admin, see that I'm cheating and type ban 5 because you think that I'm ID 5, but the server thinks that I'm ID 27. And translating those when people are just using raw IDs instead of names is tricky. So we've decided to disable that for now and make it optionally enabled if people want it, but with the caveat that their script will need to be aware of this. And, for example, if in a command they just use strval to get typed ID, don't do that because it will probably be wrong. Or do that and then translate it from local ID to server ID. scanf will probably support that already. So with you, so if you do type you, if you use scanf with you already, it'll auto translate. Some scripts will need updating to support that.
Cool. Actually, the next question was, will we still be limited to 1,000 player slots? So I guess that kind of ties into that.
Yep.
Yeah, the answer for that, no.
If you enable it.
Not
Yeah.
needed.
So moving on with the community questions. People want to know which languages other than Pawn we can script our servers in.
That's completely dependent on plugin developers. We already have quite a few already, which can be easily ported over. And some already do work.
A lot of those plugins use Samp GDK to access Pawn, but we just need to change the lowest level in there.
Cool. Okay. Next question. Will Samp CTL/OpenCTL be the official package manager for Open Multiplayer?
Yes, it will. It'll be renamed, of course.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's Open Package Manager?
Yeah, I'm thinking mainly about developer experience type things. So things like logging and command line interface, environment variables. All the stuff that helps you kind of build game modes faster and deploy them faster and automate as many things as you can. Yeah, SUBTITLES will remain compatible, and we'll basically just add OpenMP support.
Yeah.
So you can switch to it just by changing a string and changing your includes, and then recompile, and it'll just work. That's the plan anyway. And then it'll eventually have a bunch of new features as well.
Yeah.
Sort of better log handling, better Docker support, better deployment automation, stuff like that. Some of which will be implemented into OpenMP itself. Yeah, hopefully that answers that.
It does answer in that, yes, SUBTITLES, OpenCTL is officially supported, officially endorsed, probably distributed with it. That doesn't mean it's required. You can write scripts without it. If you don't use it now, you don't have to start using it.
A lot of people wanted to know if we'll have a built-in anti-cheat.
Not really an anti-cheat, but more of just like we will try to block a few known issues, any exploits, stuff like that. But I think we're going to leave it to other developers to
provide people the
implement
tools
their own way.
to build
Yeah.
good anti-cheats.
Yeah.
That's probably the most efficient way anyway, because then the community can kind of like come together and build solutions for specific cheats. Because if the community is dependent on us for doing that, then it's just going to get overtaken, because the amount of people developing cheats is going to outnumber the amount of people developing OpenMP, probably.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure they can.
providing
They can
people with
push
tools
out
to do that
updates for theirs
is the best thing to do.
Yeah.
We'll probably like post an official kind of repo for one where anybody can contribute and serve it as a module, just decentralized. Because the idea is that eventually, well, it's called openmp. It's meant to be open source. It's not currently because we've not finished the first release. But once it is, then we can release it and other people can contribute. And that's one of the major areas where we're hoping they will do.
Yeah.
Will it have an officially included edit cheat? Yes, if you help us. Definitely can't have a general ban system because servers are independent. If one server wants to keep you or one server wants to ban you, that's down to the server.
Yes.
As for the anti-cheat itself, it will be separate, and you can update it at any rate you like.
And then on that note, Clio mods. A lot of people want to know if they'll still work, or mods in general.
So yeah, they're all client side, so that doesn't really.
There'll be no
right
changes.
Cool.
Yeah, not in this version anyway.
People wanted to know if OpenMP will have a fixed GPCI function like a serial in MTA.
Problem with that is it's never going to be a 100% guaranteed like way of, banning someone or, finding out if that player is that player. Because anyone with any kind of skills at all will just use some kind of like modifier for their system, and they will just change some information, and then they've got a brand new ID. So there's not really much we can do with that. We can provide you the tools, but I can't say they're ever gonna be 100% working.
We got a lot of questions about RACnet. I think people just want to know like what your thoughts are on it. If OpenMP will use the same version that Samp uses, blah blah blah.
There's a minor difference, but nothing extraordinary. We need the same. Well, we need basically the same major version for it to actually communicate with Samp directly.
So yeah, for now we're going to use RACnet as the same version that Samp is using, right? Only to keep the backward compatibility. Other than that, for example, for NPCs that Josh is working on right now. I mean, not right now, but he was working on it. But he was using eNet. That's probably our first choice, and it's way much better than RACnet.
I like eNet.
And it gets contributed more frequently, so we do not have issues with, exploits or stuff that come up later, because we all know that RACnet project is dead. Like, the latest version is probably 6 years old by now. So that's the only reason that we are using RACnet. We're going to change that.
Okay, so there was a lot of discussion in the thread about sync and debug and stuff like that. So I guess people want to know what the sync will be like compared to Samp, and
It'll be the exact same.
The exact same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm going to disable Debug. We can't do that until client comes out. I'm probably not going to do that because it ruins the experience of Samp.
Yeah, so there was a lot of debate about that, and obviously there is within the team as well.
People people enjoy that stuff, and there's already ways to stop it and prevent it anyway, so I don't really think it's kind of our prerogative.
I think we should probably, in the client, we should probably add a way to disable those kind of bugs if the server owner wants to, but maybe. it should be an option.
You can already disable it via pawn scripts though, so.
Yeah, you can.
So the consensus on that, just to clarify, is that we are just going to leave it how it is, and each server can choose what they do with it. Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Again, it's up to servers. Servers are different.
Yeah.
They want it, they can have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like lag comp. Like people like lag shot. Some people don't like
Yeah.
lag shot.
Okay, so a very popular question, both on the forum and in this chat, which I know you guys don't want to answer, but we're gonna do it. Samp for Android. What are your thoughts on that?
I think our
I'm
official stance was we're not going to support it directly, but we're going to give the tools so that anyone else can do it.
We don't want to support
I'm
the
s-
existing Samp mobile because the existing current version of Samp mobile is based on stolen code.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very not legal.
So officially, as open multiplayer developers know, is the answer.
There is stolen versions of the source code out and about, so that's what the Android version is based on. We could, if we wanted to use that, we could have used that. We could have started from that code, updated the server, and written openmp using stolen code, and it would have been very illegal, and that's
Yeah.
entirely the reason why we started openmp from scratch. Zero old source code in it. Like, you can compare them, and they are absolutely nothing alike.
Yeah.
Because we do not in any way condone stealing.
Correct. That's a very important point to
So true.
reiterate. We do not support
Yeah.
stolen code.
It
We
would have
don't
been
want a
out
bad
years
name.
ago if we did.
Yeah.
People want to know why they should play OpenMP instead of MTA.
Well, we're still offering the same Samp experience that everyone loves, but I guess we're now offering an upgrade path. More features down the line. A possible path for everyone to kind of like move forward. Like even at the stuff that everyone's wanted from Samp for years. And a lot of people have left Samp because Samp has just been down the same path for a very long time. It's just not gone anywhere. Very little's been added, but now we're giving people the opportunity to add what they want now. After we've released it, they can we can add stuff, and that path's open now.
And MTA is great. I like MTA.
Yeah.
There's no beef there. Like
Yeah.
their map editor is great. I always
Yeah.
used to use it. MTA definitely has like better features. It is an objectively better thing than Samp, but people just kind of like Samp more. I don't know. It's kind of, I guess it stays closer to
That's
the
just
game.
having different goals.
Yeah,
It's
different
just having
goals
different
really.
goals.
MTA kind of feels more like Gary's mod in a way. Like it's more of a sandbox
Yeah.
type. Like create your own crazy multiplayer like game type thing. But
People like simplicity, so
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the ability to join the server without downloading 500 megabytes of anime skins is always a good thing.
I guess it's Samp and MTA serve slightly different markets. Why would you use this one instead of MTA? It's just the same reason why you'd use this Samp instead of MTA. It's essentially Samp.
So the next lot of questions are more about kind of the structure of the mod and the community rather than scripting. So people would like to know if it will be compatible with the Steam version of San Andreas, because obviously, as we know, Samp is not.
it should be.
Yeah. MTA does it. I'm sure we can do it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah.
yeah.
It would just take a
There's
lot of
no
work.
reason
so.
not to.
Samp doesn't support IP failover/alias. Will OpenMP support it?
Yeah.
The reason Samp doesn't support that is
Crazy.
because it uses the actual port and the address to encrypt its packets.
Yeah.
We can just not do that when the client is out.
Yeah.
While we've got to use the Samp server, we'll be kind of bound to the weird encryption that exists. But after that, yeah, we can do like just a regular UDP proxy type thing.
Okay, now the master list. People want to know what's going to happen with that. Will we have a paid list, etc., etc.?
It's not a for-profit project at all.
Yeah.
There have been ideas thrown around because people actually do genuinely want a way to, if they run a big server and it is kind of like a business, then they do want a way to kind of bump it to the top as like an investment kind of thing. And I appreciate that, and I've actually talked to quite a few people about that desire from the sort of larger server community. There are ideas and I don't think we're quite ready to sort of discuss them all yet because they're not really fleshed out. But I have been working on the new server index, which is currently being deployed. It's essentially going to be like sampservers.net, but with an updated backend, and it'll support Samp servers and in future openmp servers. And it's kind of going to be like the advertisements board from the forum, but better because it's not on a forum. But yeah, it'll be like a dedicated website, and it'll be openmp/servers, and eventually that will turn into the list. As I said, like we're quite early on decisions like that, and I don't really know what the sort of team's consensus is, but I think we're probably not going to split servers into two separate lists because that just kind of separates people into like the bad ones and the good ones in a way. Having the ability to give the smaller servers a chance to kind of get some visibility is good as well, because you know, sometimes people make a really cool project and they can't pay to go onto the hosted list or whatever. But at the moment, it's just going to be like a list, and you can sort it by whatever you want and find servers. That'll be the first version.
Yeah.
So I think the really important thing to take away from that is that we are a not-for-profit project. So we're not going to create a server list purely for the intention of making money off of it. Now the question everyone hates, 0.3 DL. A lot of server owners asked if it will be compatible on first release so they can instantly switch their servers over.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was easy.
That was easy.
I think for the server, it's very simple. For the client, I don't know.
Someone in chat had a really good question. Have you guys thought about making a workshop for OpenMP, something like how MTA has for maps, scripts, plugins, etc.?
That would be really cool.
Yeah, that would
really
it'd be cool. Yeah.
The question is, have we thought about it? The answer is no.
No, we're not
Fully
quite
think
there
about
yet.
it.
But now we
I'm
are.
going to think about it now.
Yeah,
So
no,
thank
yeah.
you. What kind of things would you guys like to eventually add? Like, you know, once it's all compatible and bugs are all sorted and everything, new things that you guys would like to see.
Text animations.
Oh my god.
I want Unicode. I want the clown emojis in chat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
emojis in chat.
Ah,
Yeah.
emojis in
Emojis
chat,
on
yeah.
chat.
Yeah.
The
It'd be
ability
nice.
for Russian people to talk to English people on the same server without having to change their code page.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That's a revolutionary.
Oh yeah.
Bro.
It is revolutionary.
Multi-server clustering would be cool. There's a lot of Russian servers out there, and they run like 20 servers, and they're all like connected. And
Yeah.
I can imagine
That'd
it's
be
very
nice.
janky in the back end. I think like facilitating that would be kind of neat.
Someone in chat just asked voice chat in OpenMP.
Do you want 12-year-olds shouting at you down the street? I don't think so.
Yeah. Leave
I
that
mean,
to
there are plugins
Discord.
out there,
Yeah.
and of course, with the
There's
with the
better
client and the
systems.
server out in the future, like if you want to do voice chat like plugins, then go wild.
Now, people were asking about, like, you know, other communities that speak different languages and such, and they kind of want to know what we're doing to work with those communities and how we plan on spreading the word to those communities. I think it's fair to say that we're working on that. So we're recruiting volunteers to translate our wiki pages and whatever else to other languages, to moderate our language sections on the forum, burgershot.gg, by the way, and generally just to be the point of contact between our team and the other communities, I guess.
And I was surprised to know there's quite a big Chinese, Japanese, Taiwanese community as well that I didn't even know about. So I've been talking to people in those communities and helping translate and stuff. So
Yeah, I found out that there was a big Chinese and Japanese community about 7 seconds ago when you said that.
yeah, I've mentioned it before in the Discord, but yeah, there is actually a big community. The problem's always been the language barrier.
Yes.
But the translation stuff is really helping with that. The fact that you can actually do it, because the old Samp wiki you couldn't create an account for many years for some reason.
And there are already multiple language sections on Discord and the forums. We'd love to reach out to communities we kind of need people within those communities that speak English to liaise with.
Yeah.
But we're very interested in finding those people. So if you're involved in one of the foreign language communities and speak English, please speak to us.
Yeah, so if you know trustworthy members of the community who speak other languages and want to help us out, tell them to get in touch with us on our forum, our Discord, wherever, because
Email,
we would love that.
Smoke signal.
Yeah,
possible
smoke
way you can
signals.
think of.
I mean, we already do have several languages in the team.
Yes.
So
Correct.
speak English or German or Persian or
Australian.
that's about it. Yeah, Australian.
Also, we're pretty close with the Turkish and Romanian communities as well.
Yeah.
They're pretty big.
And I do have contacts in the Russian community as well.
So the last pre-loaded question from the forum today is, what are you most looking forward to about OpenMP? And I just thought this was really like a wholesome question.
Being released.
Well, yeah.
Releasing.
Okay, so after the release then. Like, just in general.
We're all just looking forward to getting to a stage where players are finally enjoying the features, or we get to a point where the rest of the community can take over.
No book reports.
Nope.
No book reports.
I'm honestly just kind of looking forward to bringing together the community again, because we all kind of separated and, you know, went off in different
it'd be nice to have.
directions, so-
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a big increase of players. Especially now that we talked about including the other communities as well that have gone their own separate ways. It'd be nice to have them in, because you know, more players the better. So
not even just player count, just in general, bringing the community back together.
Yeah.
We're not doing this for the sake of a 15-year-old game because the game is the greatest game ever. We're doing it because the community.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
However, it is the greatest game ever.
The game.
That's
Can confirm.
Vice City's better.
Look, Liberty City is my home. I'll always love GTA 3. But anyway,
so the team's completely split.
yes. But on that note, we get a lot of questions asking, San Andreas is such an old game, why are you bothering, why do you care? I just want to answer that one and say that I think it's important to remember that a large portion of the Samp player base come from countries where technology isn't necessarily as up to date or as high priority as it is where some of us live, and a lot of our players play Samp because it's one of the only games that can run on their PCs or that they can afford. So I just absolutely love the fact that we can give them the ability to play and create their own game modes like battle royales or racing modes or whatever. Everyone can still experience these kind of games, even though they can't afford like PUBG or Call of Duty or, you know, like they can't run those things.
And a side thing to add to that, I think, is the scripting side of it. Like it's a gateway drug in a way. It's a gateway for people to learn how to code.
Yes.
And if you learn how to code, that can be great because you can make things and you can make games and you can have fun, but you can also get a job doing it.
There are a lot of people.
A lot of people here
have
actually got jobs because of Samp.
That's right.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
It's it's definitely a great gateway to learning how to code because like Pon is quite a simple language, and then you might move into C++ to build plugins, and that's kind of a more complex language. And then you might move to doing web stuff like PHP and JavaScript because of like user control panels and forums and stuff, and it just goes out from there. And yeah, that's one of the main things I love about it. Like I don't really play the game anymore, and I haven't really written much code for a few years, but I just love the community. I love helping people with that side of things. So that's why I'm in it.
I think you can track the history of games over the last 15 years through Samp modes. Whatever the current popular games is, there is a Samp version of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And I love that.
PUBG Samp.
Yeah.
Battle Royale Samp. South Coast was Rising and Microsoft Flight Simulator Samp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there are many games or communities like where you can do that kind of thing, where you can have different modes, like maybe Roblox or something.
Gary's mod's the only one I can think
Gary's mod,
That's like the closest thing, really.
Yeah.
And even that kind of, like, you need a semi-modern PC to actually run it.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
when you join a server, you usually download 500 megabytes of anime skins. So,
Yes.
You know, kind of got the MTA problem.
Every time I play Gary's mod, I get like texture errors and stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
We were saying lots of people have started in Samp learning to code through Porn, which is quite a simple language. And a lot of people always ask, like, why using Porn? It's such a simple language. But that is the answer.
Yep.
We use it because it's a simple language.
Yeah.
Like, anybody can pick it up. That's. I am convinced the barrier to entry is 0. Which,
Put it this way.
we
if I can do
like
it,
that.
anyone can do it.
Potassium learns to code video series. When's that happening?
Yes.
Yeah, when's that? We need live
I'm
streams.
down if
They
you
could
guys
be
are.
timid.
I'm so down for that. But you guys are gonna get very
I actually
angry.
think that's a really good series.
I'm very hard to teach.
Yeah.
And also I will cry. But that's okay. Alright, before we end for today, people keep asking us to show videos of the progress. So we don't have that. We don't have videos because there's not really anything to show at the moment, right?
We have been live streaming recently, and
Yeah,
showing
in the
openmp
visual
progress.
At the end, there's actually nothing to show on a stream or as a video, because it's just a simple server application, which is like a console. So you barely can get anything out of it if we show it on a video. So yeah.
It just looks like Samp.
Yeah, the whole point is to be Samp, so
Yeah,
it's,
just launch
Yeah.
Samp and then what openmp.
Yeah.
Kind of the idea is that from the player's perspective, players shouldn't even notice to run an openmp server at the beginning, because they'll just connect to the Samp
exactly.
client and they'll just be connected and they'll play and then everything will be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say the initial release won't really see any new features? They'll come later in the future, maybe?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
probably not straight away.
We're
Yeah,
basically
probably,
limited by the client. So without our own client, we can't really do much.
We can do some clever things. Got some tricks up our sleeves.
Watch
The
this
new-age
space,
features
basically.
without a client.
But
That's
development is occasionally streamed on
Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah. So if you guys join our Discord server, South Claws and other people do often stream, their development and stuff, their progress in Discord. So you just you join the Discord channel and watch the stream.
And you can
Yeah.
just join and talk as well, and chat and
Yeah.
ask questions and like
Yeah,
that.
we're talking.
Yeah. So we are quite open with it and do a lot of public stuff that you guys can join. One more question quickly. Are there plans to open a Patreon for people wanting to support the project? We haven't
Yeah, not
really
really
discussed it
Anything like that.
yet.
Yeah.
Donations are always good, but we don't really need them right now.
Yeah, at the moment we don't need them. Maybe in the future we'll open up some kind of way that you guys can support the
Yeah.
project if you want to. But we're not doing it to make money. All right, I think we will end it there because I think we answered a lot of questions. But if you
and
have
we'll-
more questions, please go to our forum or our Discord and ask them. So make sure you follow this channel, join our Discord, subscribe on YouTube, follow our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, sign up to our forum, all that good stuff. Everything is linked.
VK, you forgot VK.
Yes, VK.
There's a Reddit as well.
Reddit.
With nothing on it.
Alright, well, thank you guys so much for being here and for answering all
Yeah.
these questions. And thank you, Twitch chat, for being here and for following and everything.
Yeah.
We'll see you on Discord,
Thank
I
you
guess.
for hosting us.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
See you all on Discord.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.